What are the most important things not to do when you're thinking about leaving a narcissist? Well, in this episode, we're going to cover those critical steps, so you are not going to want to miss it.
Welcome to the Victim to Warrior podcast.
We're John and Melissa, and we're both narcissistic abuse survivors, and our mission is to help other survivors reclaim and rebuild their lives. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome, but we're also streaming live on all other platforms, and we've incorporated mailbag. So please stay to the end because it just might be your questions that we answer.
You know, I'm so excited to share this vital information today because we just hear it week in after week out, people making mistakes in this process that hurt them for years afterwards. So this is so important. So please stay tuned. And like Melissa said, we're going to have some mailbag questions at the end that are going to be really important. So stay till the end for that. So let's talk about the most important things not to do when you're considering leaving your narcissist.
Well, and honestly, that's the reason I wrote this book, because they are the devil. So it is like you are divorcing the devil. The evil things that they will do are unimaginable. And I wrote this book based on not just my own experience and the mistakes that I made that cost me thousands and thousands of dollars in extended the divorce, 3 years. It should have been 6 months. So many, and this was years and years ago, so many things that I could have done differently. So in this book, which I call the Divorce Bible, you don't have to make those same mistakes. You can actually have 20/20 vision here and learn from what I did, learn from what some of my clients have done, so you are not making devastating mistakes. And just like John said, mistakes in a divorce can last a lifetime, especially if you have children. So these are so important. And we'll cover some of the critical steps today. Now, the book itself is published and it's on Amazon, and we'll put the link in the comments below.
Right. So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about several different things today, but the most important critical step to not take when you decide to leave a narcissist. What is
to tell them.
You cannot tell them.
Yeah, you cannot tell them until you are ready. The biggest mistake that I made in the heat of a horrible argument, our marriage was falling apart. It was miserable. I had tried everything, as you all have. Nothing works because you can't fix the unfixable. But in that heat of that moment, I said, I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce. And it went from screaming to silence. And then he laughed. It was very eerie. And I didn't know what to expect, but he said, no problem, pack your bags and leave. Now, this was my house. I owned this house. And he's telling me to pack my bags and leave. I'm like, you must be kidding me. I'm not leaving. He goes, well, I don't want the divorce, so I'm not leaving. When you're married, you can't just kick your spouse out of the marital dwelling, regardless of who owns it. So I didn't know what to do because I wasn't prepared for that. I was prepared for him to say, fine, whatever, I'll get an attorney. But that's not what he said.
Well, you're not dealing with a logical person.
No, and I was not prepared for that war. I was not. So that was the number one mistake I made. That is number one not to do. Don't tell them until you're ready.
And it's not always verbal.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
You know, we talked about this in our Red Flag Friday video. You have to be careful that you're not sending messages, nonverbal messages that you're gone.
Yeah, like you've detached, your personality's completely changed. Your narcissist knows you better than anyone. And they know your triggers, they know where to pour salt on the wounds, they know how to love bomb you, hoover you. Yeah. They are masters, manipulators, control you. So the change in attitude and that detachment sometimes also backfires because then they suspect you're up to something. And they'll go about it two different ways. They'll either all of a sudden start acting nice, do something sweet, agree to something that you've begged them to do. And then you're like, well, maybe they realize that they're a huge part of this problem and they're willing to work on it. False. Or they'll plan something behind your back and hit you with it when you're not ready.
Right. So verbal and nonverbal. Everything needs to stay status quo
Yes.
while you're planning. So let's talk about that. Number two, the most important thing to not do is to do this kind of willy-nilly and I'm just going to kind of figure it out as I go. No.
You have to have a plan of action. And when your brain is literally in this fog, I call it, because you have been in fight or flight mode for the whole relationship, basically, you cannot think logically. Why try to get yourself in such an anxiety-ridden state? Just follow the steps. John and I did an entire webinar called the 12 Critical Steps to Take Before You Leave. And when I say they're critical, they are critical. So you have to have a plan, follow the steps, exercise the plan, and then you can start making logical decisions on the next course of action.
Yeah, you know what I love about the 12 critical steps? It comes with a checklist. You just check them off as you go. Think about the day before you leave for a vacation. You're kind of stressed out. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, you create a list, right? I got to get my passport. Got to get my dry cleaning. Got to make sure the plane leaves on time. I got to get my ride to the airport. Boom, 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 boom. And you go down your checklist so that you make sure I've got everything packed. Everything is ready to go. You're leaving forever, or this is a forever thing.
Yeah.
So having a list is critical, but it brings your anxiety level down so that you can think clearly. And you really don't have to think if you just follow the items on the checklist. They're so...
Well, plus it starts allowing your brain to start making logical decisions. Yeah. When you start reading something and actually writing and doing the action, your brain is following along with what you are telling it to do. When you're in an abusive, narcissistic relationship long-term, your body has no clue what to do. It is following your brain, which is on cortisol overload. And so it's making anxiety-ridden decisions. This is a chance for you to actually start turning that around and start making logical decisions, which, believe me, when you are wanting to divorce a narcissist, you have to think logically. So going with a checklist is definitely a step in the right direction.
Right.
Now,
okay.
What is the third thing not to do?
Not to do. It's hire an attorney that you know nothing about, or a friend referred them, or I've heard good things about this attorney. No, you have to use the attorney interview checklist that Melissa provides you.
With those critical steps.
But we hear this almost every week.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. We have a client going through a divorce when Melissa's divorcing coaching program, and they have hired the wrong attorney. But guess what? It's too late. Once you realize that, it's too late. You've given them all your money for a retainer. You can't change at that point. You're too far down the road. So hiring the right attorney who understands narcissistic behavior is critical. I can't state this enough. It has ruined so many people's lives by having the wrong representation. So it's absolutely critical that you do.
It cost me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by hiring. I actually got my attorney referred to me by the prosecutor who prosecuted my ex-husband for domestic violence and assault. And what he said to me is he said, this guy's a shark in the courtroom. Well, that's one thing. But if it takes you 3 years to get to the courtroom, then you could be financially devastated by then. And that's what your narc wants. They want to beat you down to where you're just giving in. You're giving up your rights. You're giving up your marital assets. You're giving up potential support. So when you hire the right attorney, and this is honestly the reason I got my certified divorce coaching certificate, is because I wanted to be able to help people not make the same mistakes that I made, and so many of our clients who get to me too late. I can help you do legal research in your state, and I can help you choose the right attorney. We will together go through the attorney interview questionnaire. If they can't answer those questions, they don't understand narcissism. And understanding it and not falling victim to their manipulative games, because think about everybody who's fallen victim to their manipulative games. You, people on the outside, it's no different than them manipulating their own attorney or your attorney.
Yeah, they pull the exact same stuff that they've been pulling for years in the court.
Oh, yeah.
delay tactics, firing our attorneys to have to hire another one for another delay. These delays go on and on and on.
Trying to break you.
Right.
Trying to break you. So getting that attorney that understands not to play these games and to shut those things down immediately will save you so much time, money, and heartache. So hiring the right attorney is a big deal.
Okay. Yeah. So we've covered 3 really, really important topics. And again, that 12 critical steps, I mean, that includes 12 critical things to do throughout this. Important things to protect yourself, your safety, make sure you're not being tracked, get the P.O. box, all freezing your credit. I mean, so many
Urgent things on it.
Right. So I'm going to put the links to all of these fantastic resources in the description below. We're about to get the mailbag, so hold on.
Well, I want to talk about one more thing that
Okay.
is critical, and that is courtroom preparation.
Oh, my
Gosh, this is so, because you are a bag of nerves.
Yeah.
Even though you go through the critical steps, because you are now prepared. You've gotten the documentation, you've done all the critical steps that we've been talking about. So you are ready. Mentally, physically, emotionally might be a different situation. So one of the things that I do with my clients is role playing, because you are going to be tormented on that stand. And I'm not trying to scare you, but you really need to take heed to this, because a judge may or may not understand narcissism, okay? So if you're on the stand and you start breaking down emotionally and you're not able to speak clearly, you're not able to, they're going to try to trip you up. They're going to try to make you look
That's the opposing counsel's job.
Yes, that is their job, to make you look unstable, to make you look emotional, to make you look potentially like you're lying, not in control. It's very difficult to maintain that type of posture if you're not prepared for that type of war. So going through role playing, it is uncomfortable, because I'm going to act like the other attorney, but that's what you need. You need to know what to expect, so you need to know how to prepare an answer.
Well, it's rehearsal.
It is a rehearsal, and it gives you a chance to think about, I am speaking the truth, so I don't need to be emotionally upset about the truth. You just need to be clear and concise. If they push you, take a breath. All of these things we talk about, they can't rush an answer out of you.
Right.
So these are the things that we go through to help you prepare. And it is huge, because you don't want to do all these critical steps and then get on the stand and absolutely lose it because you're not prepared.
Well, and that's why I love the way you coach your clients. This is how you answer these questions. If they start doing this, this is how you do this, because
they'll put words in your
most likely this is the first time you've been in a situation like this.
Yeah.
And so you don't know how to do it and how to answer these questions, or how to deal with this onslaught of lies that are coming at you combatively. So you have to know how to do that. And Marissa does such a great job with role playing with her clients and really getting them so that when they do get on the stand, they're nice and calm and cool and collected, and they just go right through it.
Yeah.
And it's just...
it's big. It is big, because so many people think if you show all these emotions on the stand, they'll be able to see your pain.
Right.
Unfortunately, if a judge doesn't understand narcissism, they just see it as you being very emotional and potentially looking for sympathy. And that is really harsh, because you've already gone through so much. So having control of your emotions to the best of your ability, being prepared, will be so much better for you. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel better about being cross-examined, and you will know you are speaking the truth, and no one is going to be able to put words in your mouth that are not the truth, because narcissists lie. They lie to everyone. They've lied to their attorney. Their attorney may or may not believe them, but it's the attorney's job to represent them and to push those lying narratives. So it's our job to coach you to not be sucked into that.
I think that's why by the time you eventually got to court, you did so well and got a very nice judgment that, of course, Melissa never saw.
But he didn't get anything.
But he didn't get anything.
He got nothing.
And so, but it was because of the way she handled herself. 2-day trial, and she was on the stand for hours and hours. And so she was totally prepared and knew everything, which I know you'll know everything, but we know how to convey it properly.
Right. And not backtracking, because they will try to put words in your mouth. They will try to answer questions for you that actually set a false narrative.
Right.
And those are the things you need to know how to combat, because there are just little tricks and tips that you can do that will shut that line of questioning down.
Right. So we've got Melissa's book that we're gonna put the link below. It's a very inexpensive Bible.
It really is.
Everything there.
And it honestly, all of my books are not scientific explanations. They tell you what you're going through. They validate your feelings, but these are guides and workbooks. They are step-by-step things explaining what happened. This is what you do about it. And they all come with work. You can write in these books, so you can take notes, but make sure you keep it locked up. Lindsay. So when I fit in this,
right out. And the 12 critical steps to take before you leave. It's a 90-minute recorded webinar with your downloadable checklist. And we also, I want to put Melissa's call link below for hers. She's a certified divorce coach. I want to put her call link below with a discount code, Recovery25, to receive $25 off your initial call with Melissa. And also, that preparation, pre-trial preparation is so critical. So, because that's the goal, is getting to trial eventually so that you can tell your side of the story and get what is you deserve and what you rightfully deserve through your state laws.
Absolutely.
So let's get the mailbag.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, so we're going to put all those links below.
Now, these questions actually fall right into Flay, because we did a video about my book, and these actually came up from a couple of the comments on that video. So
These are great. I'm going to try to read these without my glasses. So,
well, I may have to read them.
What do I do during our pre-divorce co-parenting meetings with the guardian ad litem when the narcissist continues to lie and make me look unfit? Wow. And it will happen.
It happens all the time. As far as you do have to go through co-parenting classes. If you have children together, the court's going to make you do this. The best thing for you to do before you go to this first class is to document behaviors, patterns, because you will start noticing things that your child is doing differently. Whether it's them staying up all night at the narcissist's house, and then you try to get them back on schedule in your house, and you're having this war with the child. Documenting everything, date and time, documenting behaviors, documenting missed appointments, documenting emails, missed school emails. We always recommend, big time. Yeah. We always recommend using a co-parenting app. We recommend our Family Wizard. They're amazing because it takes that guess game out of it. It takes the lies out of it, because you have to communicate through an app, which the guardian ad litem can actually be part of, so they can see both sides, and you don't get roped into these emotional circles where they're trying to trap you. And getting upset during a co-parenting session doesn't work well for you. So because they're going to be calm, they'll be the victim. They'll be the one you're trying to rip their children from them, and they can play that part like an Academy Award-winning actor, where your emotions are all over the place. You have to be prepared going into these meetings. Before the first one, write down every single thing you're responsible for with the children. What are your job duties? What have you done during the marriage? What do you still do? And then what are the soon-to-be exes? Have that with you, because when you talk about you're bringing them to school, you go to their extracurricular activity, you bring them to the doctors, you help them with their homework, all of that hygiene, all of that makes a big difference. If you have any witnesses that you want to actually be brought in, you may or may not be able to bring them into these meetings, but you can actually give the guardian their names, and they can actually call them. And it could be somebody you call in court. Most likely it will be. But being prepared, writing things down, staying calm when they make an accusation that you know is a lie, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and answer truthfully or counter truthfully. You've got all your notes right there. So you can go back and say, well, no, that actually is not true because of this.
No.
Looking and being prepared helps the guardian understand that this is important to you. You're trying to stay focused. Your children are a priority, and you have done everything in your power to make sure they are cared for, and you want to keep that control. You don't want to lose that control because you're looking emotionally unfit, or like you can't control yourself, you're yelling, screaming, things like your emotions want you to do.
Yeah, and it's hard to answer their lies or
defend yourself
defend their lies
if you're not prepared.
If you're not prepared, you don't have your list written. So Melissa's phenomenal with that. One of the things I love about our Family Wizard is it allows you to stay no contact everywhere else. And everything is recorded through our Family Wizard. So you're not going to get those berating text messages or the lies or all the other things. All those are recorded within the platform. So it's just,
so they do all of that. It's recorded in the platform, and you can actually use it in court.
right.
So that's hard sometimes for a narcissist to keep their cool.
Right.
And they may lose it on our Family Wizard, but it actually can work.
Yeah, and I'll put the link for our Family Wizard below, so you can just click on that and see everything about this app. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, question number 2. How do I keep from losing it on the stand when his attorney is a bully? And they will be.
Yes. And we kind of talked about that. That's a great question, because we just talked about that. Being prepared and doing the role play, I can't tell you how important it is. I know with the situation that I was in, because it went on so long, all of the contempt charges he filed against me, he basically was trying to get me to admit something that was absolutely not true. My ex had fraudulent companies. I had nothing to do with them, but his attorney kept trying to trip me up and trap me into saying that I was a business partner. And I lent the company money, but I was not an officer. I wasn't a partner. I didn't run it. I had no access to anything. And so he kept trying to make me say that I was the partner. He goes, but you're married. I said, well, being married doesn't make me a business partner.
Yeah, that's a huge point, because I know a lot of us who have never been on the stand before or don't have a lot of experience don't understand. We have rights on the stand too.
Yeah.
There's certain things, and your attorney hopefully will defend you or object when certain things are going on and protect you when you're on the stand.
Right.
But you can't rely on that.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, and Melissa's great with this. She'll let me know that this is a line you don't need to cross, or you can say, hey, listen, I'm not going to answer that, or we're not going to go down that road, but in such a way that's a professional way to do it in a court.
Yeah, and they may ask you something. He asked me that question 5 different ways, and I answered it the same way every time.
Right.
We are not in business together. I am not a business partner. We're married. That doesn't make me a business partner. I said that, and finally the judge said, move on, counselor. But he kept trying to make it look like I would be responsible for all the tax liens, for the lawsuits and people suing him because of the fraudulent businesses. I wasn't part of it, and I was not about to be roped into any of that. So you have to stay firm.
Right. And that's what their job is, the opposing counsel, is to trip you up, is to get you to say things that may or may not be the way that you want them to come out, but they come out just in the heat of the moment or emotionally or whatever. And so that's why it's so critical to prep for that. So, gosh, we've covered so much great information in this podcast.
And we appreciate you joining. And
right. And so for next week, we have one new podcast every week. Please send us your questions that you want us to read on the podcast. And not only to help you, but to help everyone else who's listening to this. So just send us your questions at questions@thev2w.com. I'm going to put that email address below as well. And I'll also put our website in there so you can see that if you haven't seen that yet. But we're so grateful that you've been here today.
And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. And we hope to see you on our next episode.